Greetings nerdy list aficionados and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. So you all were here for the pregnant superheroes, you needed to know more about the drama, the madness, and I am more than happy to oblige. It's gonna be a wild ride. I'm Sasha and these are the top 10 superheroes who got pregnant part 2. Gonna go on a deep dive, because this doesn't happen quite as often as you might think, and also I want to highlight some rarer occurrences. Number 10, Black Canary. We're starting things off in the Injustice universe. This universe was spawned from the fighting game tie-in comic. So in it, the heroes are divided after Superman begins his dystopian push as he sets up the One Earth regime, a world government, helmed by Superman and those who agree with him. While those who oppose this are set up as part of an underground rebellion. Of the heroes who oppose him, you of course have who you would expect. Batman and also Green Arrow, Batman Light, and Black Canary. Don't yell at me, it's fine, it's true, it's fine. When hanging out in the Arrow Cave, Harley Quinn, who at this point has had a change of heart and is helping Green Arrow by doing things like renaming his Arrow Cave the Quiver, gets into a fight with Black Canary. And the two are fighting quite intensely until Black Canary suddenly doubles over asking for a bucket, because fictional pregnancies are usually far more dramatic than real ones. Fun fact, for a lot of women, if you are experiencing morning sickness which leads to vomiting, which not all women do, it usually happens at the same time each day, so you can kind of plan your life accordingly. It's also not always in the morning. Just life facts for the comic I'll never write, featuring a realistic boring pregnancy. So she gets the bucket, throws up in it, and Harley figures out that she's pregnant, and the two bond over it, for Harley has been pregnant in this universe as well. Harley would go on to babysit their child and be a great friend to their family. Number 9, HAWKCIRL, DCAU. This is an implied pregnancy. Still counts. So in the DC animated universe, HAWKCIRL and Green Lantern John Stewart had a deep relationship. It was a huge part of their arcs. The build up to it took seasons and was a huge final moment. And also the moment when her helmet was taken off and she was revealed to be gorgeous, I've never recovered. However, their love was shattered when she was revealed to be a traitor, a scout for the Thanagarian invasion force. That puts a damper on any relationship, even if she would defect to save her new friends. For some, that just made her a traitor twice over. But her and John still clearly had feelings for each other, and in a Batman Beyond episode, it was hinted that they would have a child. This was also hinted in a time travel episode in Justice League Unlimited. This is because Warhawk of that team in the future was their son, but he didn't reveal anything when he went back in time because he didn't want to mess with it, even if it meant he didn't exist. You see? That's how you time travel. Number 8, Superwoman. Reach, reach, reach. She's super low, pun intended, because well, she is from Earth 3, the crime syndicate Earth, where the heroes are villains, etc. However, they don't see it that way. She would play a pivotal role in the Darkseid War arc, or rather her pregnancy and baby would. So on her Earth, she is with Ultraman, but was also having an affair with Alexander Luthor, the hero of that world. She was also cheating on both of them with Owlman too. So when she first got pregnant, she told Ultraman it was his, but then told Owlman it was his, when really it was Mazza's, who is Alexander Luthor, who has the ability to absorb powers of the people he has killed, such as Billy, or on this Earth William Batson, hence his name, Mazza's, which is Shazam backwards. So essentially what happened was she gave birth to the new Darkseid. This is because the baby had its father's abilities to absorb power, so was made to absorb the Omega effect and the anti-life equation, and she died and was killed. How was this heroic? Well, this would end the war, alongside some coinciding actions. Look, they think they're heroes and they're mauled after them. You're glad you know. Come on. Number 7, ARTEMIS. Kinda. We gotta put it down here because people have been baiting the net with clips for a while. We're gonna be looking at Young Justice for this number. So at the end of season 2 of Young Justice, Wally West was gone, and it was tragic for fans, especially as him and Artemis were a favorite couple. And what with Wally being gone from the New 52, it was all too much for some people. There was even a hashtag for a bit, Justice for Wally. It was an experience. Then Young Justice was cancelled, which was devastating for some fans, as it had ended on a bit of a cliffhanger for certain characters, like Wally. So fans started petitions and made noise, and eventually years later got the series back. Season 3 did finally bring some closure to Wally, but not entirely. However, it did provide a future vision or ideal version of the world for Artemis, and involved her and Wally together with a baby. She was down to be pregnant with Wally's baby. Stop breaking our hearts, Young Justice. Many people felt a bit more lukewarm about season 3 though. Thoughts and feelings, questions, concerns? Share down below. Number 6, Bumblebee. Speaking of Young Justice, we have a more than fantasy birth here with Karen Beecher aka Bumblebee and Mal or Guardian, for a time anyway. Her and Mal were high school sweethearts who hit a bit of a rough patch when she got really invested in her work and kinda took him for granted for a bit, but they got over it. So once she was pregnant, the series used it to dive into a series of tough questions about whether or not their child would be gifted with a meta gene. So if she would have this gene or not, what would it mean, and did they want her to or not? Both eventualities had pros and cons. Karen would give birth in a snowstorm, only for it to be revealed that their daughter had been born with a hole in her heart, which despite just giving birth, Karen shrinks down to fix herself, all while contemplating the nature of her tech-based abilities versus meta ones. It's an interesting discussion and a deep one, something that Young Justice enjoys doing. Number 5. Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman got pregnant by Superman. It's happened a few times actually in Elseworld or alternate universe continuity stories. We of course have the sequel to The Dark Knight Returns, The Dark Knight Strikes Again. In this we have the now infamously memed panel where her and Clark have sex up in the sky, so hard the earth shakes, and at the end of it Diana announces, "Wow Clark, I'm pregnant again." Quality content. However, there is a less, awkward pregnancy in Kingdom, which is the sequel to Kingdom Come, which is a famous Elseworld story featuring an older crop of heroes led by Superman, who have to return to deal with new younger meta heroes who are out of control. At the end of that comic, these two, Superman and Wonder Woman, would get together, and in the sequel comic she would give birth to a son who of course they named Jonathan. That's Clark's go-to name, because in so many continuities his dad is dead. In most of them by accident. There's also this panel of Wonder Woman being terrified of being pregnant by Clark in the New 52, and of course it's been cut out and used in some epic thumbs, maybe even in ours. I don't know, I won't know till later. Living life on the edge. Number 4. Venom. Now you could kind of consider the symbiote pregnant when it spawns, but we're going to be looking at a specific instance. And no, it's not Carnage, a more recent iteration. We're going to be looking instead at Mike Costa's run, which had Eddie Brock become pregnant with Venom's baby. Yes, this was an extremely shippy run. And Donny Cates, who had come in after, hated it and made fun of shippers and is now just super aggressive to fans in general. Sad times at Twitter Hive. Eddie didn't know what was happening at first. Here he was, having weird dreams and of course throwing up, and Venom was all, "Nah, don't worry about it, it's all fine." Venom needed the bond this time to be able to spawn, and once Eddie found out, he was super protective of it. And he was keen to make sure the new symbiote was spawned safely. Now everybody was hunting Eddie down, saying this new child was a threat. I mean, look at all the other symbiotes that have been created because of Venom and then the spawn of Venom. But it all seemed to be for nothing as the symbiote was stillborn. But psych, that wasn't true. It lived and has been growing, kidnapped at first by its host. The true child of Venom was meant to be raised up into a hero. They say true. That's why I kind of said it like there were quotes around it. True. Number 3. The Scarlet Witch. Ah, the tale of the Scarlet Witch's children. As much a canonical one as a tale of how some writers on staff hated her and the Vision together. Now Wanda was married to the Vision, who is a synthezoid. So how did this happen? Magic. Yes, they said it was magic. A magical pregnancy. So we would get to have all those traditional pregnant panels with her and Vision, and also get to have the concept that they were his kids. Now later, these kids would be retconned out of existence, only to be retconned back in. Her being pregnant was a big plot point. The whole relationship was. It was all planned out, and as a result, some on staff just got sick of it, especially if they had only been lukewarm on the idea in the first place. The realization that her children had been a manifestation of her own powers would greatly degrade Wanda's mental state, and she would later have a breakdown of epic proportions, first creating the House of M universe and then nearly wiping out all mutants. Later there would be a Lost Children arc, where Wiccan and Speed would believe themselves to be her lost, displaced children and seek her out. And they were indeed Vision's children. Just why? It didn't have to be like this. Number 2. Donna Troy. Donna Troy, aka Wonder Girl, aka Troya, aka Darkstar, aka Leave Her Origin Alone. At one point she was married to a man named Terry Long. Terry was a married college professor who met and fell in love with Donna, leaving his wife, ex-wife, and child for her. Thus would begin a whole Donna balancing being a hero and a normal life arc. Donna would become pregnant quickly, and then a group of Teen Titans would come from the future to kill her baby. This was because he was gonna grow up to become a villain called Lord Chaos. Yup. But Lord Chaos also came back to make sure that his mom gave birth to him, and she did, and named the baby Robert. And at that point the writers seemed to realize, oh no, they'd written themselves into a corner of sorts. So Donna would leave her life as a superhero to raise Robert, but would eventually be lured back in after a series of supervillain attacks. This would drive a wedge between her and her husband, so he would decide to take the baby and leave, and the two would end up getting divorced. But this was another problem. Divorce wasn't that acceptable at the time. A divorced hero? Who could relate to that? Asked the late 80s. And so they fixed it by having him and the baby and the wife all die in a car crash. Isn't that better than her having to deal with a reality many people live of blended families? The 80s thought so. Number 1. Elastigirl. That's right, time to look outside of Marvel and DC to the movie The Incredibles and the awesome hero and mom Elastigirl, who had 3 kids with Mr. Incredible, and who the internet feels is dummy thick. Dem thighs, that's what they say. Her and Mr. Incredible met at the height of their superhero careers, and it was only shortly after that superheroes would be outlawed because of the lawsuits and the payouts they were causing the city. Helen Parr would at first be more accepting of the changes in their lives, settling into suburbia, but she too would feel the lure of their former heroic life, a lure that would be even more pronounced in The Incredibles sequel, while the first film explored her husband's struggles, but still dealt with what she was dealing with too. It's a very honest look at middle age and deciding to accept your life or change it. I don't know, I love The Incredibles. I'm Sasha and thanks so much for watching Top 10 Nerd. Please, if there's any other pregnant heroes I missed, leave them down below. And also, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. So, whoa. Isn't that better than her having to deal with the reality many people live of blended families? The 80s thought so. Dead baby. I didn't write an outro. I'm Sasha. That's all I need to know.